Hi again, everyone. Scott Pyre, Pop Cult fan here, and for you guys tonight, I have two videos that I want to do for you all. So I just got home. I saw the new Scream movie with my family actually, because yesterday was my sister's birthday, and my sister actually wanted to see this new Scream movie too as well. So we all saw it as a family, and I want to do my review of the movie for you all. And then I'm going to do one more video after this, reacting to the newest trailer for Moon Knight, which I am really excited for. But before I have that video, I'm going to do my review for the new Scream movie, Scream 5. This movie, in my opinion, I do think that it's the best film since Scream 2. I really enjoyed it. I do have a few flaws, though. Talking about the positives first, though, I think this movie is probably the most faithful to the original Scream than all the sequels, if I'm being honest. Because I think there's a lot of this movie that feels very similar to the original film, and it goes back to that a lot. There's characters from the original film that reappear, especially the original cast. Courtney Cox, Neve Campbell, David Arquette. It's always nice to have them back in another Scream movie again. But what I really liked about this movie, though, is that they focused on the new characters first and fleshed them out enough. And when you get to the third act, I do think that going into one of my negatives is that the big reveal of who the villain is, it was a little bit predictable. I predicted who the killer was, before the third act. So that's my one flaw. But what that character, though, the actor playing the character, I know him really well because he's the lead role on the Boys TV show on Amazon Prime. Jack Quaid, I thought he was really good in his role. And I thought his character was very relatable. And I liked him. I liked him throughout the film. And also I liked the lead actress in her role as Sam. I liked what they did with her character. And going back to what I was saying about this movie being very faithful to the original film, I don't want to spoil it, but there's something interesting to do with that they do with this new lead character in this movie that I thought they did a pretty good job with, connecting back to the original Scream movie, which, I really enjoyed it. I think easily I prefer it more over Scream 4, Scream 3. I think it's the best film since the second one. And one other flaw that I do have with this movie is that it's, I think, in some cases, a little bit too faithful, because there's a lot of lines of dialogue, a lot of moments that feel a little too faithful and it doesn't do too much new. I kind of would have liked if they had done a few newer things with this film. They do things differently in this movie. Don't get me wrong, especially the beginning of the movie. Usually there's a character that gets killed off at the beginning of these Scream movies, and I thought that was going to happen, but that character made it throughout the entire film, and that surprised me. So they do things differently in this movie, and I appreciated those differences, and I like how Scream 5, it does address meta-commentary of horror films nowadays, it talks about toxic fandom, and you see a lot of that nowadays for a lot of things, like Star Wars, Marvel, DC, even Pokemon to an extent. There's a lot of toxic fandom throughout social media and all that, and I liked how this movie touched upon that in its commentary, and also touched upon the concept of movies like the Halloween 2018 film, Terminator, Dark Fate, Star Wars The Force Awakens. There was a lot of commentary on movies like that kind of rebooted a franchise, but was also a sequel to an original film in a franchise. And I liked that commentary on the state of film now in Hollywood. And I really liked that about this movie. Keeping in with tradition with these Scream movies, always, commenting on the state of films during the current generation of film. And I've always liked that about these Scream movies. And another aspect of this movie that I liked is that the humor was more subtle in this movie. They took it more seriously, which I also appreciated. It wasn't as comedic as some of the previous films. It took it more seriously. And one character in this movie, one of the legacy characters, Dewey. I really liked what they did with his character. He had a lot more screen time than the other two, Gail and Sydney. Dewey actually had a lot more screen time, and I liked what they did with his character. He's definitely, in my opinion, the character that gets the most development of the three that came back. And also, like, even characters from some of the previous sequels came back in this movie. It was nice seeing some of the previous characters from the previous movies too. So, like, overall, like, I thought this was a really good Scream movie. Granted, I mean, like I said, I have a few flaws with it. Another flaw being that this movie, once again, Ghostface just uses his knife. There's not very creative kills in this film. Granted, I think a lot of the kills are pretty graphic, but they're just not creative. And that's just the only other flaw that I have with this movie. Other than that, I thought it was a really good film. One of the best Scream movies since the second film. So if I had to, do a ranking, still, the original film, Scream 2, Scream 5, Scream 4, Scream 3. That's my ranking. The original film will always be the best, and I still, I might take, a few rewatches. I really enjoyed this movie. I think I still like the second film the best out of all the sequels, but I probably had to rewatch Scream 5 a few more times to really, think about which sequel I like the best. But yeah, so the original, Scream 2, and then Scream 5, and then Scream 4, and then Scream 3. That's my ranking for all the movies. And my grade for Scream 5, I think it's an A-. That is my grade. So that should do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I have one more video planned for you guys tonight, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.